Hi everyone, my name is Terry Westwell and today's Tuesday, which means it's time to discuss our book of the week, which is The North Wind by Alexandria Warwick. First, this is a spoiler-free section, so if you haven't read this book yet, don't worry about it won't be spoiled for you here. There will be some spoiler-related bits that I want to discuss, but that'll be later on in the video, and you will get plenty of warning. If you'd like to join in on any of the upcoming books, send me your thoughts, comments, or even a short video clip of you discussing the book, then I'll list the next 4 upcoming books in the description below. I rated this book 4.5 stars. I may have had some issues with the plot here and there, but I don't know, I just thought it was a really sweet read, and despite my initial hesitations, I think it turned out to be a really fun and unique read in its own way. Although I did see the main twist coming and nothing surprised me too much, I will say that it didn't always take the turn you would expect. Okay, so quick summary of this book. Wren is no stranger to suffering. With her parents gone, it's her responsibility to ensure that her and her sister survive the endless winter. But if the legends are to be believed, their home might not be safe for much longer. For 300 years, the land surrounding Edgewood has been encased in ice, as the magical barrier that protects the town folks weakens. Only one thing can stop the barrier's fall: the blood of a mortal woman bound by marriage to the North Wind, a dangerous immortal whose heart is said to be as frigid as the land he rules, and it's time for him to choose a bride. But when the North Wind sets his eyes on Wren's sister, Wren will do anything to save her, even if it means sacrificing herself in the process. But mortal or not, Wren won't go down without a fight. If I had to compare this to any other book, it would be a dead ringer for anything like ACOTAR or A Touch of Darkness, which isn't really too surprising because this is inspired by Hades and Persephone and Beauty and the Beast, which clearly these other books are inspired by as well. I'd also say that the spice level was kind of similar. For the most part, the chapters were all a perfectly reasonable length, around that 10 to 15 page mark. It was super easy to read, and to be totally honest, I was enjoying it so much that I barely even noticed. I will say that I had my hesitations because in the beginning of the book, it was so cliche, it shared so many similarities with a ton of other fantasy and romantasy books out there. But the more I read, the more of the story's unique elements came along, and I really started to enjoy it. This was one of those books that I picked up in the shop because I liked the cover and I like romantasy, but beyond that, I didn't really know anything about it. It sort of sat on my shelf for ages, and I'm really glad that I finally got around to reading it because I loved the characters and their story. There was also a discussion on substance abuse, which I don't think you see too often in these sort of books, especially to this extent, and I thought that it was so valid and so nice to see. I read these books all the time, and usually the main characters have been through a hell of an awful time, and it wouldn't be out of the realms of possibilities that they would turn to some form of substance to help them through that hard time. Yeah, alcohol's still often something that's glorified, especially in the realms of magic and fae and kings and queens. So as for the question, would I recommend the book? Absolutely, I really enjoyed this book. I think that it's super underhyped. However, there were quite a few plot holes that I think a more serious fantasy reader probably wouldn't like, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. Now, will I be reading any more by Alexandria Warwick? Yes, I mean, I wouldn't say no because of how much I enjoyed this book. However, I do have to admit that I'm a little hesitant to continue with the series, literally for no other reason than the fact I think it's a series of standalones. Like, each book, by the looks of it, follows different characters within that same world. Like, this one was the North Wind, the next is West Wind, and so on. So at the beginning of the video, I did say that there'd be a point where you get a spoiler warning, and this is that moment. So if you haven't read this book yet, I would suggest going and doing that first, because beyond this point, there's definitely spoilers. Okay, so the book starts off with the main character who is starving, whose family is starving. So they have to go into the forest in order to find food. Not that the family would ever help, because it's her responsibility to look after the sister. When the mission is complete, they must head back home just in time for this event, which will result in someone being taken away from their hometown against their will to face horrible circumstances. When the main character's sister is chosen, instead they volunteer as tribute.
I volunteer as tribute!
Oh wait, no, that's the wrong book. A dark, mysterious presence turns up and demands that she must go back with him. Oh wait, no, that's Akatar. Nevertheless, nothing I said was wrong. It is the start to so many books, so maybe you can see why I was a little bit hesitant. However, I did actually like the little twist that the North Wind had actually rejected Ren and was still planning on taking her sister. It was only Ren's quick thinking that saved her, and that really helped my attitude going forward with this book. The more that I read, I then started to appreciate the book for its own unique elements to the story. I did previously say that I had a couple of issues with the plot, the first one being Ren's scar. If Ren's scar immediately makes her an invalid choice to be chosen by the North Wind because, I don't know, she's now no longer considered beautiful, then why not just cause a happy accident for your sister and scar her face as well? Like, it might seem dark, but is it really any darker than the alternative? Like, if the options are to get a scratch on your face or to become a human sacrifice, which is what they thought was happening, then clearly one of those choices is the better option. Okay, so plot hole number 2. The gods said that when they were banished, the council made it so that they would have to suffer through their punishment. Made it so that they couldn't even unalive themselves. In fact, the North Wind said that he'd tried to go to the council and plead for them to unalive him. If giving up your weapon or whatever gets rid of your magic and therefore your immortality, then why not just do that and become mortal if you want to be unalived? Like, even if you still couldn't unalive yourself, it's A, a lot easier than for someone else to unalive you, or B, you would only have to wait like 60 or so years. I liked the unique twist, and I liked the fact that he chose to become mortal for her, but it also just caused those plot holes for me. But let me know what you thought. Did you enjoy the book? Next week we'll be discussing First Lie Wins by Ashley Elston, so don't forget to get your thoughts and comments in by Sunday the 16th of February at the latest to be a part of the discussion. You can now do this on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram or Discord. The following week we'll be discussing Flawless, but don't forget if you do need a little bit longer to read a book, we do now list the next 4 books down below along with the discussion dates. That way you can choose the genre that best suits you and the best time frame to read it in. If you like this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe, it's always appreciated, and I will see you next week. Bye! If you like romance, fantasy, or even thriller, basically anything fiction book related, then I suggest you head on over to the channel's intro video, where you can find out more information on how you can take part in this online book club. We announce books at least 4 weeks in advance, and we accept your bookish feedback in a wide manner of ways. Post your comment below a video, send in a voice note, or even send me a short video clip of you discussing the book. Alternatively, you can just send me a direct message.